When you think of romance and Demon Slayer, Muzan isn't the first person you think of, but he's actually been married 5 times, and all of his wives have mysteriously disappeared except one, 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼. She's the woman who is standing right next to Muzan when Tanjiro first meets him, and the little girl being held is their child, but a couple theories say that this isn't a normal marriage. See, before being married to Muzan, Ray was actually married to an extremely wealthy man, but in a devastating turn of events, the wealthy husband was mysteriously killed. And shortly after Ray met Muzan, and to Ray moves on was everything she needed in her time of mourning. He was there for her when she cried, and I'm guessing he was also down to help when Ray's child was born. That's right, this kid isn't half demon and half human. It's most likely 100% human, and actually the child of Ray and her former husband. The sad part here is that the mysterious death of the husband was actually caused by Muzan. The first Demon Slayer fanbook confirmed that Muzan killed the wealthy husband to take advantage of Ray's money and business. Now, after the scene where Tanjiro meets Muzan, we don't ever see Ray or her child again, and what most likely happened is that Muzan get rid of them once Tanjiro blew his cover. I'm sure this would paint Tanjiro to here, but he's kind of the reason whose two aren't around anymore. Anyways, we need to talk about Tanjiro and 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼's spicy relationship, but it didn't start off spicy. In fact, the very first time they met, they didn't even talk to each other. That happened way later in the show when Tanjiro started flirting with 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼. See, Tanjiro and the boys were about to leave the butterfly mansion, so he said goodbye to everybody and including 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼, but Tanjiro's curiosity was piqued when she flipped a coin to decide whether or not she should respond to his farewell. He asked 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼 why she needed to flip a coin to make decisions, and that's when she revealed that she was the Guinness World Record holder for the most indecisive person. However, Tanjiro pulled a 900 IQ move and tossed the coin heads, which meant she would have to follow her heart for decisions, and tails meant that she would keep on flipping the coin. For any future decisions, the coin landed on heads, and this is where the anime started hinting at the future relationship. Look at the moment they're having here. Tanjiro was holding her hands, and 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼's eyes were shining. The moment didn't last long because Tanjiro told her to always follow her heart and then ran off. The next thing he did was fight Kuto and Doki, so 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼 didn't see him for a couple weeks. She must have been shocked when she got back though, because she was in a coma for 2 months. This is important because before this moment, 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼 literally had 0 emotions. The fact that she could even feel glad is a big step up for her. The next big moment in their relationship happened during the fight between Muzan and all the other Demon Slayers. Tanjiro had just been turned into a demon, and 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼 wished her life to inject him with a cure, and while she didn't die, she got severely injured. But I think it was worth it because Tanjiro turned back into a human, and once the battle was over, you can see the couple smile at each other in a very wholesome way. Years after this massive battle against Muzan, Tanjiro and 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼 eventually married each other and started their own family. Well, I don't know how many kids they had. The manga does show that they had at least 2 great-grandsons. Listen, Tanjiro was a player, so of course 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼 fell in love with him, but her romance was in danger for a bit because this girl, Aoi, also had a huge crush on him. But when she realized that she was competing with 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼, she decided to go from one of the homies instead and fell in love with Inosuke. But you gotta realize that when Aoi first met Inosuke, she didn't like him at all. While Tanjiro was training to get stronger, and Inosuke and Zenitsu were just lounging around and being lazy. So right off the bat, he made a super bad first impression, and that's why Inosuke is the one who fell in love first. See, later in the manga, Aoi scolded Inosuke for stealing snacks, and they gave him a tray of food so he wouldn't have to steal anymore. And if he looked closely, you could see that Inosuke flushes a little bit while smiling, and I guess Aoi caught feelings shortly after, because later it was confirmed that Inosuke ended up with her, and they had a couple of kids. We have 7 more secret romances from the anime. If you like this video and want its next part, comment below. I'll put it on the channel right next.